I just made $815 on this futures trade by re-entering at the exact same price level of my previous break-even trade. Here's what my Footprint Pro and Key Levels Pro indicator showed me to make this a valid re-entry signal. So let me share what I was observing going into the day. The first thing to note is that there was going to be news at 8 Mountain Time, 10 Eastern Standard Time. And so right out of the gate, we saw heavy buying after consolidating in the pre-market. And there was no news that impelled this, just that buyers came out hot. And we see we have zero prints here that were formed. So look at, this is the Footprint Indicator Pro for the NinjaTrader platform. And so we have zero prints here formed right out of the gates. We have a strong delta percentage greater than 20%. We have buyer volume imbalance. And then the next bar, we had everything here. We had buyer volume imbalance, which is this blue cyan border along with the zone across here. We had zero prints. These are the yellow bars across. Zero prints is when there's participants on one side of the trade, but not on the other side of the trade. So in this case, we had buyers, but no sellers on these price levels, and these never filled. And we also had a buyer delta percentage here. This is a new enhancement to the Footprint Pro indicator on NinjaTrader that I'm releasing this weekend on Sunday probably. So this is 187 just on this bar alone. And then we had 46.8%, which you rarely ever see that level of buying on the delta for one footprint bar, so that was incredibly heavy. We blew through this blue line here, which is the 100-day simple moving average on ES. And then we continued strong right into the LVN from the previous day, low volume node. This is from the Volume Profile Pro indicator that I've developed. You see to the left, we have the previous day volume profile. So we're well above the value area high here. And now we've blown through the previous high day here. And so I'm seeing this, and there's strong signal for reversal here. This is a classic sign of buyer exhaustion prints at the top, because we have now multiple buyer volume imbalance at the top with the cyan borders. We have these yellow borders, which are additional zero prints that are filled on the next bar. So price did not find any sellers at these price levels. And then the next bar, it came down, and we did have sellers in this next bar, which then filled these zero prints. We had 23.8% buyer delta. This is all classic reasons for a reversal in my mind. And it's at the LVN. It's at the previous high day and is at the low of week that occurred, looks like, on July 25th. This is the NinjaTrader Key Levels Pro indicator that I've developed as well. So I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, one, we have an LVN down here, so I could see volume coming down to fill that. So then we also have a zero print. The zero prints almost always fill, and often on that same session. So this looks like a classic reversal to come down here, fill this LVN on the current day's volume profile. And we see here this LVN, which is this larger yellow range here that is between the volume profile, and this here to the left of it is the delta for today's volume profile, coincides with this zero print and buyer volume imbalance. In addition, we have the 100-day simple moving average down here, and now a buyer stacked volume imbalance zone on this footprint bar as well. So this seems like an incredibly strong magnet for price to come down here, touch this, probably even this zero print down here below, and really flush out anybody that's holding before maybe it does a next leg up. And so I was kind of waiting for that, seeing the strong buying and expecting a reversal. But what happened instead is that we start seeing indications that we're not going to fill the zero prints, that this is just going to run back up. Yeah, what I'm seeing here now is we're observing now another buyer volume imbalance here. And I'm thinking, oh, we're going to go up to the 6,900 key level here, which has LVNs from the previous day volume profile. To me, it looks like this actually might not come down here. We might hold at the low of week and the high of day and push right away to the 6,900 psych level and these LVNs from the previous volume profile. So I also have BookMap, and I've noticed this strong buyer impulse here. I'm looking at this on the 15-minute time frame, and this strong volume from buyers has moved price up. When you see these impulses, I expect the price to move in that direction. And what I'm doing now is like kind of eyeing this up. I see now a strong buying, like right here, you see the strong buying imbalance here. So now my thought is we have a potential for reversal here. Now we have a stacked buyer volume imbalance. We have some buyer absorption happening here. We see 25 buyers being absorbed. Not strong enough to take a reversal on this, but maybe the high day is failing off from the previous high day. So now mentally I'm thinking, okay, and again now in the current buyer, but price is moving downward. My line in the sand is going to be this previous high day at 6881.25. If we can get above that and above this stacked buyer volume imbalance, then I think it's go time to 6,900. We do not hold that, then my thought process is that we will probably come down and fill this zero print, another zero print here right at the 100-day simple moving average, and potentially even this additional 2 more zero prints down at like 6.8 at 6.5, and then it might go down to VWAP after that. So again, I'm not predicting what I want to see happen. I'm just playing out in my mind. Here's 2 scenarios. What are my indicators going to show me? What am I seeing on the chart? And then right there, see price, then we had a strong buyer volume imbalance right at the bottom, which is a heavy, you see there's a red delta there. And then additional buyer volume imbalance pushes us through the previous high day, and now we're above that price level. So now I'm thinking I'm ready to potentially take a starter long position here. You look at the cumulative delta indicator. There's another one. I'm going to release this in February. I got to fine tune this, but notice the strong green buy on the cumulative delta. Then we have a gray. We have a small red, which was this push price down. Then we have a neutral here where there was a candle closed green, but it appeared that there was like strong sellers here. And so it is a gray neutral candle, but it doesn't have green on this because it's not closing above this previous high on the bar. So it's a red outline. So there's a strong sellers here. And again, here we have this closed red, but it not red below this. So this is gray neutral. This is gray neutral. Again, the cumulative delta, because again, it closed green, but it's not above the previous bar high. And now this closes green. We have a bar that closes green. We have positive cumulative delta on this. And so this looks like we're probably in for long, which actually I am here. So I see I took a starter position here at 6883.75. And it shows, I think I'm probably in a position of, 9 total contracts. There's 3 on the funded account, 6 on the eval account, because the eval is twice the size of my funded account. And now I'm setting up my take profit and stop loss. The stop loss is 76. Let's see where this goes here. And 1,600 for the take profit. I think I probably end up pulling that back. Yeah, I can make sure the adjust these right so I'm not adding on up there. And now we see the OCO order. It's the way I get around the group trade add-on for trade of it. I might try NinjaTrader now on the desktop, see if it has better group trade options. I prefer the ATM option. So now, if this closes strong again above this previous LVN here, and this candle closes green, then I'm going to add a full position, another 9 contracts. I see it. So this right here could be a sign reversal, right? We have a now strong buyer delta right at the top. We see buyer volume imbalance at the top and a 200 plus volume delta bubble on this. So if price went down here, I might have let it run down to my stop loss because that might have been signing for reversal. I might have exited out early, but we see this immediately pops up, closed green, and we form like zero prints. This is crazy. Like the buyer's just kind of crazy. It was unusual price action. I feel like this whole week. Now we have like stacked buyer volume imbalance zones being formed. So the Footprint Pro indicator shows a sign when there's 3x participant from one side to the other. So here we have 3 times the amount of volume of buyers to sellers. And when there's multiple price levels stacked, this creates that zone. And now we have zero prints here again. So again, there's no like zero bids at this at these 2 price levels. And then we have 34.8% buying delta percentage. Again, high. Okay, zero prints filled right away, so it didn't close. But we had a zero print there for a second. You see it filled. So you see like really strong buying here. A lot of times this could be a sign for me to take a reversal, but in this case, I'm looking to see if we hold this stacked buyer volume balance, because to me, that could have been a sign for reversal, but because, here we had that strong delta and all these buyer exhaustion signs and it came back. Again, we had this here, right? We had that stacked buyer volume balance. We had the zero print. We had delta percentage, but it closed green and continued going up. And now we're showing like similar signs here. So now it's apparent that we're not reversing here. Just buyers are incredibly strong. And so if we're able to come down here, tap this buyer volume imbalance and get back above this area where buyers were, my assumption is that whoever participants were here that caused this strong buying volume imbalance, that's clearing this area here previously with the zero prints, is going to be here to defend this price level and move price up to 6,900. So I'm watching for a dip. I'm not just going to slap my full position here. I don't think. We'll see what happens. But I'm hoping for a dip down here to maybe touch this buyer volume imbalance stacked zone. And even you see the POC and the total volume here, this yellow line here on the volume, on the Footprint Pro to take this up here. So let's see what happens. I might be ready to slap this here. Let's see here. So you can see I got my finger over the trigger here for buying market. And yep, there we go. Did I get? No, did I add that? Took a screenshot of that. I checked NQ and I'm in full position now. So I added on here because you see what I was waiting for? I was waiting for it to come down here to a test of the stacked buyer volume imbalance. We came down here, tested right at that level. We came right to the tick. Didn't actually penetrate it, but we right to the tick. We see a seller volume imbalance here, really minor. So you see how the tail, it's tapered here, which tells me that price is moving quickly. You see in the Volume Profile Pro, actually, the Volume Profile Pro indicator now is showing an LVN here. So there's a low volume node right at the top here, but it's another bulge now forming, which means we need to taper this out and probably go up to 6,900. There's another low volume node still down here at this zero print, but now we have significant low volume node. And the fact that we came down here, had a seller volume imbalance right at that stacked buyer volume balance, and now we have a strong delta here of buying delta at the top. This looks like we're now going to push to 6,900 in this LVN from the previous day volume profile. That was up here. So I added the full position. You'll see 6 is here, but actually added another 9. There's 6 total now on this funded account, and there's going to be 12 on the other account. So now I have a total of 18 micro contracts in this targeting 6,900. In addition, I also see here that we have the 3 green cumulative deltas. So if we get over this delta here, we should be good to go. I got my OCOs now set in, and you see what I do as well. I start moving my stop loss up and tightening up. So I added twice the position, but my stop loss now is only 3.5 points, 3.6 points. Yeah, so what's happening is this is actually kind of a potential reversal signal here. So now we have 3 footprint bars that have strong buyer deltas, and price should have gotten above that. I also see some buyer absorption here now, and a buyer volume imbalance up above, and now I'm starting to see a stronger buyer delta up top. So a little bit torn here because we have seller imbalance and buyer imbalance. So now this is starting to look a little bit of a neutral trade. This could go either direction. Yeah, I think I actually ended up stopping this trade out to even. I didn't like this price action here. You see move my stop, my profit target up. I think I was aware of another price level up here, 69.17. Did I stop on here? There's some zero prints. I think around here now, since we potentially closed green here, I'm expecting that we should not come out and stop me out here. Theoretically, we should hold. But I think I do stop off a break even here. Again, we have some buyer absorption up top. We have some buyer, and then we have seller delta here, which now I'm getting mixed signals, right? You got buyer absorption, seller absorption, buyer absorption, seller delta, buyer delta. It's like really mixed between both of these. And yeah, I'm stopped out. You see price keeps going down further here. So like this should hold. And you see I'm ready to get back in here. I got my finger on the button to get back in, but I'm trying to move forward with the idea of protecting my capital. So if it goes up green like this and comes back down, I'm just going to stop up break even because I can always enter back into a trade after I get stopped out for break even. If it goes against me and I get hits my stop loss after moving up like that, I can't get that money back, but I can always re-enter a good setup. And that's what I'm waiting for here. I feel like this is still valid. It really didn't invalidate my trade here. And this is like, that was a pretty decent signal for me to potentially take a long here. Yeah, this right here. So this right here, Now we see a strong seller delta percentage here, and strong seller volume imbalance, and strong seller stacked imbalance. A lot of times what this is a stop hunt. This is where I had my stop, I think I had my stop down here previously, right? So this is a stop hunt. It's looking for stops. It flushes down. I forgot it keeps going down further. I'm still getting ready to take this long because I'm thinking that might have been a stop hunt. And in fact, I think it might have been. Let's see what happens here. We're seeing seller absorption, and I'm back in this. And you see that actually I'm back in at a price that is lower than my average previous price. So I should be able to get back in this full position here. So I took a starter again at 9, 3 and 6, 3 in the funded, 6 in the eval. And the reason I got back into this because it's not really invalidated. I saw that as a classic stop hunt. It was looking to flush out, even being close to taking out my stop anyways on this. And with this seller absorption, and now we're above this seller delta here, I'm thinking this is probably back on. And that was just a classic stop hunt. So I'm in this for half position to move my stop up close and moving that back to that 6,900. I'm front running, so you see I have the profit target at 6,998. So I'm eyeing this up. I'm only in this for a half position right now. I got my starter in. And now I'm observing some more seller absorption. We close a bar green here. Another thing to look for a lot of times is a reversal pattern could be a red cumulative delta, gray cumulative delta, and then the next one's going to be a green cumulative delta. That's often a sign for reversal. This is not super strong. This is like the most baby of green here, but I do get in here because I see this strong buyer delta right here, and we have this tail come down, and I see now some seller delta. It's going to, it's not able to move price lower here. This is a bit of a red flag. Now I see an 800 volume profile delta on my volume profile indicator. So this can form some headwinds here. If we get above that, I feel highly confident we're going to be able to hit 6,900. And I keep seeing signs of, this seller absorption happening here, which gives me some additional confidence that buyers are strong here. So now I see buyer volume imbalance here. I'm in full position. You see 6 here, which is 6 on the funded, 12 on the eval, more strong buying here. This gray dot means there's a large participant involved. They're moving price, which this strong buyer volume imbalance is showing they're probably involved here. We hit my profit target. So now I think I moved my stop to break, close to break even. Yeah, it's like 2 points, not even a point and a quarter. And now, this is worrying to me. This is definitely a point where it could be a reversal. I see a few things going on here. We see 25.1% at 1600 psych level at the previous day LVN from my volume profile pro indicator. The 6900 is also from my key levels pro indicator. I also see buyer volume imbalance with a strong 400 plus buyer delta. And now I'm seeing some buyer absorption on my footprint pro indicator. So all my indicators are showing this could be reversing here. And I eventually end up closing out the rest of the runner down when this closes red because I've made my profit for the day already anyways. And so I'm at the point of thinking if this LVN doesn't hold from my volume profile pro indicator, you see now they're filling this. I'd expect this to tap down in here and then bounce back up for the next level because we have 1 bubble, 2 bubble of delta sellers dominating that particular price level. Then we have strong seller volume imbalance with the pink orders. We have now 35.9%. This could be reversal, but if we can't come up here and blow through this, I'm thinking, yeah, this is not looking good for a runner to get filled. And yeah, I think I closed it out. Yep, I closed it. And if we look at the charts here, it went sideways for like 4 bars, went up a couple more. It only went up to 69.06. It never went that much higher. So it had to go up to this close. So I could have squeezed out another 6 points maybe for that runner. But I was looking more towards up in this range here. Yeah, so I could have stayed, maybe got 6 more points on it. But my theory is that I'd rather just close things out, I guess, in the profit. And I can always re-enter trades. And you see the kind of rest of this day, they just went once it hit that, and you see in the key levels pro indicator, that February 4th close, once it hit that, is pretty shit price action the rest of the day. Even looking at the NinjaTrader indicator, I didn't see any strong setups after that. You're looking at my TradeZilla journal. You can't see the two trades here from the two different accounts. So the first trade here, stopped off for pretty much break even. You did double because the 825 is the funded account, the 16.5 is the eval. And then the second trade you saw was the 263 profit. That was the 6 MES contracts, the micros, and then the 526 is the 12 on the eval account. And how I do my journaling is that I like to build a thesis. So where, the price we saw before was the previous high day and the low week that I observed. What did I see in the charts? I don't just say, or I've gotten out of the habit of, I think this is going to happen. Like I thought eventually we'd hit the 50-day simple moving average, which we did, but I need to see something on the chart to validate my hypothesis. So what I saw is that at seller absorption, there's neutral cumulative delta bar. There was buyer volume impulse and BookMap, they move price higher. You see this buyer absorption down here. We have a gray cumulative bar. There was this, positive impulse of volume that moved price up. This is a little concerning, all this heavy liquidity in BookMap up above, but we chewed through that. And yeah, that's kind of the reasoning behind the trade here. You see the ad here that I took the added position. I saw that there's, sellers are absorbed here at that previous high day and held. If anybody wants to see the charts the way I see the charts, I do have indicators available for subscription on the NinjaTrader desktop platform. You see the Footprint Pro, the Volume Profile Pro, and the Key Levels Pro. These are I think 58 for the Footprint Pro, Volume Profile. Key Levels at 48, but right now I'm running a coupon special. If you enter this coupon in at checkout, you'll get 40% off, and you're guaranteed your first year to have that 40% discount off the entire 12 months for any of these indicators. Later this month, I will be adding the cumulative delta. I want to fine tune some of the signals on there, remove some things that I find I don't use, and add some additional items I would like to use as well. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me here on YouTube in the comments. You can also check the video description for a link to the free Discord. On the free Discord, I am offering not only help for Tradevit users who are using my free footprint indicator on Tradevit, which has not as many of the functions we have here on the Pro version, but a lot of them people kind of get their feet wet here before moving to the Pro indicator. But we also have, that Discord channel will now feature, in addition to my trade journals that I shared before, TradeZilla, and on the videos links, I also am going to be having now a trading room where you can share your thoughts on trading and also give my get my pre-market ideas before we start the day. Looking forward to seeing everybody in there. Have a great weekend, everybody, and we'll see you Monday. Happy trading and stay safe.